How can you be part of a community as a freelance translator? Coming up. Hello and welcome back to the Freelanceverse. Thanks for coming back to the channel. Thanks for the support on last week's specialized episode. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to link it up here. It's an amazing talk about SEO translation. Today's video is all about community building. If you are starting out as a freelancer, as a translator in general, you're probably working on your own, right? And maybe you have this mindset that I had back in the day when I started out, I don't need a team. I can do this by myself. You can, of course, but in a way there is no need for it because there's so many resources out there. There are so many people senior to you that already went through the same struggle as you. So why would you do the same mistakes if you can easily learn from them, right? So community building is a big part of, I'm a big proponent of it. That's why I started this channel as well. So I'm very excited to have two guests on here today. Kelsey and Anikó, they are both co-founders of the initiative TeamTranslator. It's a Slack channel where freelance translators or freelance language professionals can enter and share their experiences, learn from others, get tips, find job posts, find a space to rant if they have something to get off their chest, etc. So it really feels like it's your personal team that you can just interact with on a daily basis. So I'm very excited to have them on. They have big plans with the channel. Let's look into what they have in store for us. So welcome back everyone. This video today is all about community building and I have two very big community builders on the channel. I have Kelsey and Anikó. Hello, you two. Would you like to introduce yourself to the viewers?
Yeah, hi, I am Kelsey Frick. I am a freelance translation account manager, a French to English subtitler, and a social media consultant, but I am also the co-founder of TeamTranslator along with Anikó.
Exactly, and that's the reason why you two together are here today. Anikó, a few words about yourself.
Yes, hi everyone. So my name is Anikó Pető-Mordovski. I'm a freelance translator. I translate into Hungarian from English, mainly marketing, transcription, and video games. And I'm quite a keen volunteer in the industry. Besides TeamTranslator, I'm also in a local ITI East Anglia Networks committee and also currently the chapter manager of the UK chapter of MENA localization.
Nice. So you're both based in the UK then. Is that how you met each other, through one of these networks?
Yes, actually. So we met through MENA localization. We were both working on the social media sides of things.
Yeah, you mentioned TeamTranslator. It's a great community, a Slack community that I have heard about through LinkedIn last year once. And first I thought, oh, that's a good idea, but I didn't look into it. And then it came up again and again. So I thought, okay, need to check it out. And it's really fantastic. Kelsey, can you tell us a bit or can you introduce the project to the viewers? What is it?
When we first kind of got the idea for starting something, Anikó and I, it was born out of quite a lot of frustration, I think, for just kind of the state of the industry. We saw lots of exploitative practices going on, and we didn't see much like community between other freelance translators. There was a lot of negativity, there was a lot of gatekeeping. And what we originally wanted to start out with was creating a rate sheet to try and, curb that bit of, exploitative practices, payments, and that kind of stuff. And we ran into a lot of legal and ethical dilemmas quickly with that idea.
Okay.
So we didn't want to be accused of rate fixing. We didn't want to be accused of, the perfect rate is so personal for freelancers, isn't it? It depends on if you have someone relying on you at home, if you've got kids, or if you are still living with your parents. There's so many different things that go into a rate. So we didn't think it was fair for us to be the judge of what was acceptable and what wasn't. Who are we? We're just two freelance translators in the UK. So we have a fairly limited perspective. So we kind of went back to the drawing board and took a look at what it could be. Through many iterations, we got to what TeamTranslator is now. So that's kind of how it started, and now what it is it's an online Slack group for freelance translators, freelancers in the localization industry specifically. So not just translators, you could be a project manager, you could be a vendor manager, but it is for freelancers. And it's a positive space, and the kind of ethos is that everybody's got something to teach and everybody's got something to learn. So even if you've been in the industry for 1 month or 10 years, there's still a lot of positive conversation that can go on there, and a lot of support and a lot of advice can be exchanged. So that's kind of what it blossomed into.
Yeah, and it's really creating this, as you say, this community that many of us don't have working alone, right? And you can either view your peers as your competition, as you say, and be very gatekeepy and negative, or you can embrace this community feeling and work as a team, right? And you opted for the second one. Has this always been your approach? What can you share? Like, what are the benefits of this approach?
Well, it's actually a tricky thing, because if you think about it, we are not really each other's direct competitors. So first of all, there is the language combination question, and there's also the subject matters, the years of experience. So we are not really direct competitors in the sense that you would be working against each other. Sometimes clients would even come to you like, oh, could you recommend someone to work with you on this project? So you would need to know your peers who could help you, who you feel like you could work well together. So I think it's a more productive approach to kind of work together than to like work against each other and kind of try to undermine each other.
In this case that you just mentioned, when someone asks for a team or a group, then you need the people with the same specialization, the same language combination, right? So if you kind of shut yourself out from this competition, and you will never have a peer or like a tandem where you can provide a full package to the client. But of course, community building can be a powerful tool against that, but it's extremely time intensive, right? So how would you justify, first of all, how much time do you spend on this project? And second, how do you justify that in your head?
This does, I think for both Anikó and I, it is very labor intensive. I'm not going to lie. Besides the hour-long weekly meeting that Anikó and I have to kind of make sure that we're on top of everything, and going through and making sure that things are moving along and stuff like that. There's the countless hours of moderation and all of the actions that we discuss in the meeting, then we then have to take outside of the meeting and stuff. So Anikó and I both spend a fair amount of time on TeamTranslator each week. But I think that goes to show just how much we believe in it as well, and just how much feedback that we've gotten about how important TeamTranslator is to a lot of people, I would say. It's so much bigger than just us right now. What did we look this morning, Anikó? We're like three, four people away
from
we're 3 people away from 1,000 members. So this is it's much grander than we could have ever expected, and it grew so much quicker than we had ever expected. So we realized fairly early on that we were going to need some help, so we now have 3 volunteer moderators that help us as well, which have been such a lifesaver for us, just to make sure that we've got that time freed up, but it also means that we aren't really stuck in an echo chamber. Anikó and I have worked together for a good few years now, and it means that we kind of know how each other think, and we know how each other works and everything. So having that input of the moderators is really invaluable as well. So I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of time input into it, but there's so much that we get out of it.
It's great, yeah, and also to hear that you got help with volunteers. That's amazing. How do you split your workloads between yourselves and between the moderators? Do you have a time sheet where who does what, or is it just kind of fluid?
Organic. It's very organic, and whoever has time at the moment. So if we notice something that might need some action from us. We have like a group chat on WhatsApp, and like, is anyone available? It would be impossible, I think, with 5 freelancers to establish a timesheet.
Yeah, exactly. The freelancers for a reason, right? They don't want timesheets.
Exactly. It doesn't seem to help that everything that we have to moderate just seems to come in at dinner time for everyone.
Really? Okay.
That's the trend we've noticed.
I assume in the beginning you kind of had to prompt people and, write your experience so they start sharing as well. But now it's just really organic, right? People post stuff all the time. What do you think? Why is it so successful? Why did this project take off so much?
Well, I would say it's because of the whole atmosphere that we try to create from the beginning, this supportive group, supportive milieu. And I think people feel like they are in a safe space to ask questions and they will not get any judgment, even if maybe their question is something that would be like a given to someone else. They won't get judged on that. And I think it's great that the community kind of keeps itself going. From time to time, we post about milestones when the group reaches a certain number, or if something great happens.
Yeah, we had a lot of, there was that legwork in the beginning, wasn't there, Anikó, where we kind of had to set the tone for the group a little bit. We got a lot of people joining up within the first 3 days. And that was really our opportunity to make sure that we were, posting about the kind of things and setting that tone for the group. But then people just kind of ran with it, which we love. People kind of adopted that. It's very organic now. We don't have to really encourage people to engage all that much. People kind of do it on their own.
When I first heard of this project, I thought to myself, this can either go really well or it can just turn very quickly into one of these generic, like all these Facebook groups, that is just full of crap. So how do you have like a mechanism in place that you vet the people that want to join, and how do you make sure that it stays beneficial to people and it doesn't add to the price dumping that we see in other groups? You know what I mean?
So it's twofold. First of all, we have kind of like an application form where you have to tick that you read the community guidelines and you accept those community guidelines. And the second is you tick that you're a freelancer in the localization industry. So we kind of operate on the basis that people are honest and will tick these things if they have really done this and really are freelancers. And the second thing is our community guidelines. So we have rules that ensure that it stays a positive space and that it doesn't turn into a blacklist group or doesn't turn into, complaining about things that we cannot change or cannot act upon. And basically, I think this kind of thing helps this community of genuine people.
Yeah, I think it's again about kind of setting those expectations for what is acceptable behavior within the group, because to be able to, we want to avoid the whole like toxic positivity thing. We are a positive group, but we don't want, we accept that there are times where things are tough as a freelancer, especially as a freelance translator, and that there are frustrations out there and things are confusing and everything like that. But the way that we try to sort of guide people to look at it is from what can we do about this together? How can we solve this? What are our options here kind of situations?
I think one contributing factor is also the platform that you chose. You went for Slack, and what I really like and why I see that it can even become much, much bigger and still stay so positive is because you have it all structured in different channels, right? So I think there is even a channel for people to just rant and just blow up steam. So it's not all in one place, so you don't have like 1,000 entries in one place and you have to scroll back, but it's nicely structured. Can you walk us through, maybe Anikó, on the decision to choose to go for Slack? Was this clear in the beginning, or did you experiment a bit?
Well, we wanted something that was private enough to keep it as a close group. So with Facebook, for example, LinkedIn, you can have groups, but it doesn't feel that private. So we wanted something that we can keep close, so we can keep things in the way that we imagine the community, in this positive way. And also, as you mentioned, we didn't want everything just to be dumped in one channel and then go and talk about whatever. So we definitely wanted to have some kind of thematic distribution of the discussion. So it's easier, like if I want to talk about my wins today, I can go to a specific channel for that. If something frustrating happened that I need to write about, I'm just going to go to that channel. And if someone wants to ignore that, they can. They won't see that channel.
Yeah, so, that's great. I really love the whole setup. It's very intuitive. So if the viewers of this video would like to join, and assuming they are already translators, right? That is the condition. They need to be freelance translators or freelance language professionals. So what do you think? What could people expect, Kelsey, if they join? What is their benefit if they join this group?
I mean, I think there's loads of benefits. I think especially for people who are just starting out in the industry, but equally for people who are more established. But thinking about someone who's just starting out in the industry, just gone freelance maybe, it's super scary. You know, we've all been through it, right? We've all kind of gone and had that transition into freelancing, and it's not the easiest thing, I would say, any of us have ever done. So kind of going into it and having that almost built-in support system, you know, that you don't even really have to work for. You sign up and you ask questions and people are there ready to help you and give you advice. And that is something that's really, really important. And I think before would take people a really long time to build. And also, you know, we also offer free resources. You know, we have a lot of free resources available on the website. So even if you don't join the actual Slack group, you can still download the resources as well. You know, we can help people. Okay. We've got like a CV one, we've got one for LinkedIn, we've got one for, we're going to come out with like a project tracker as well, an invoice template and stuff like that. That can just really, really help you on the start with your freelance career.
It's really a one-stop shop that you're building for people starting or working in the field. This is a platform for language service providers, right? So language, linguistic culture is a huge topic, of course. From what I've seen, most of the content, if not all, is in English, right? Have you thought of these language barriers? Maybe someone doesn't feel comfortable expressing themselves in English or has very specific target language queries, you know, that just don't make sense in English. Is there a place for these sorts of interactions as well?
The lingua franca of the group is English, as you've seen, and it kind of has practical reasons. Mm-hmm. We speak English amongst each other with Kelsey, and for us to moderate the group, it was the obvious choice to have the group in English. And initially we were thinking about possibly opening different channels for different languages, but then it would mean, again, another little army of volunteers looking after those channels in those languages.
I was going to say, it's not never say never. You know, it's just not right now based on our current capacities.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be for the future, right? When you can scale this project, because I know that there is a big French channel. I think they use Discord and not Slack, but they use exactly. And I mean, it's very similar in that sense. So I could definitely see like an implementation of a French channel, a Spanish channel, Italian channel. But then of course you need separate teams for that. But that could be an idea for the future, right? That could be cool to scale it in a way.
It's on our list.
Yeah, exactly. I really want to get more into it. I'm just a lurker at the moment. I'm reading a lot, but I'm not contributing yet. So this is my next step. I know, but I want to be, you know, I'm a big community builder as well. So I want to be part of it, definitely. Yeah, this was extremely interesting. Thank you so much. Anikó, to finish the video, could you address the viewers directly and tell them why they should join you guys and where your plans are, where do you want to go with this community going forward?
Oh, that could be a whole different podcast on its own. Yeah, if you'd like, if you feel a bit lonely, because freelancing, let's face it, can be lonely. Even if you have a family, you don't have that relationship with colleagues. So if you are craving that relationship with colleagues where you can just pop in and out of the group, kind of like where's a water cooler talk kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You can do that. As Kelsey mentioned, we have the resources. We also have regular TTTs. These are online meetups where we talk about a specific topic. And there is no expectation. So if you just want to log in and listen to what other people say, you can do that. You don't need to talk because, yes, some people are not comfortable talking on screen or on calls. We have recently formed a CIC, that is a community interest company, to be able to do more for the community. So we have some other plans in the works, but I don't want to say too much.
You can come back on the channel when the secret's out. This was amazing, and I hope all of you will check it out. I put all down in the description of this video, so you can look around, look at the link, and wish you good luck on the journey. And I see you next Monday with the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.